Guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee. For those of you that are new here, I make all kinds of videos, but for the most part I focus on making kind of like motivational videos, motivational style videos to help you raise your self-esteem. That's mainly what I make videos about now, and just things that I'm learning as we do like our inner work together. That's what my channel is all about. So if you like that, subscribe. Today I want to talk about sticking to our plans and not our moods. And I forget where I saw this. I saw this today, somewhere online probably, where it said basically stick to your plan, not your mood. Oh, I'm in a fitness motivation group chat and somebody sent like a little photo, and it was like a picture of a girl working out saying stick to your plan, not your mood, because the whole purpose of that group is to stick to our fitness goals so that we can reach our individual goals, right? And actually that's been really helpful. But it made me think about how that's basically like what having discipline is, like sticking to our plan and not our mood. And I feel like, you know, we have gotten used to, like at least my generation and like, from what I've observed, like we have gotten used to seeing people get like fast results, or even if it's like not as direct, like we're not seeing that per se, but if we go on social media and we see other people having success, we see them posting like, their vacation photos and, their lifestyle. It kind of like registers to us like that it just happened for them. But the truth is, we all know the truth is that we will never know somebody's complete story, what they had to do to get there, what they're doing to maintain that, yada yada, you know what I mean? But it doesn't take away from the fact that we're affected by taking in things like that. Like in the back of our mind, like on a more like primitive level, it's registering as things are just like happening like that for people. And we've gotten used to like, instant gratification. I've already talked about this on my channel. I'll link that video on the screen or down below about how we're kind of used to like that instant gratification, through things like DoorDash and, even just delivery services in general is a good example of that. But what I think of when I think of sticking to plans and not our moods is I think about all of the times in my own life, and I encourage you to think about yours, but I'll share my own personal experience. Like, I think about all the times in my life where I had to just like put down my head and like do it, like just do the work that I had to do, and just like really like have a all or nothing mindset basically for a short period of time. And I there have been so many times where I've just wanted something so bad. Most of the time, I'm not gonna lie, and I hope to shift out of this, but most of the time it's because I'm under a lot of pressure and I literally need to do that thing. Like there's no like, if I don't do that thing, like I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble type of situation, which I'm trying to change, trying to be like more disciplined overall no matter what. But in those moments I definitely like stuck to my plan and not my mood, and I just didn't take no for an answer, and I just did whatever I had to do. So for example, like, okay, so here's an example of a time when I really just like forced myself to have a lot of discipline because I wanted something really bad. I talk about this example a lot on my channel, but when I wanted to move neighborhoods, like I just like, there was no way that I was going to stay in the neighborhood that I was in, because I experienced a lot of just, bad situations. I was around bad people. I felt like it was a dangerous area. It was a dangerous area, and it didn't feel like I could relax there, like as a girl especially. So I just had this huge goal in my mind to move, because in my mind, like, that would be a big transformation for me, just to feel like comfortable on like a daily basis, be in an area closer to where I wanted to be every day and not so far from everything, which was where I was living before. It was kind of like really far. So when I wanted to do that, I basically like I even have a video on my channel from years ago about how to find an apartment in New York City, because it's not like it's an easy task. Like there's a lot of like guidelines here, but believe me when I say, when you really want something, there is always a way. Like where there is a will, there is a way. And in that scenario, I just like kept looking every day. I, researched what the rules were, and I realized I didn't meet that criteria at the time. I was just making like minimum wage as a lifeguard. So, I didn't meet the rent guidelines by any means, but you know what? I just kept looking. I kept talking about it. I reached out to people who also wanted to move, and lo and behold, my cousin was also trying to move, and you just never know. So we ended up getting really lucky, and our landlord from the apartment we found let us just pay in cash for, I think it was like the last month and the first month, and we split it. And the rent was already pretty affordable for the space that we were getting. We got lucky in that way. And, but I just really didn't I did not give up until I got what I needed. But it was also because I was under a lot of pressure because of how uncomfortable I was every single day. I was like really unhappy where I was living. So, and I had to save a lot of money. Like I just put my head to it and I focused on my goal, and, it came true. And I feel like that's just kind of like the mentality you have to have sometimes, like where you're not afraid of working for something. Like I feel like people are like, that quote by Kim Kardashian kind of went viral. It was like, sometimes you just have to put your head down and work. Like feels like nobody wants to work anymore. Like low key, that's kind of the general attitude that I observe too, and that I have to kind of protect myself from, because guess what? Like if you're lazy, like you're not gonna go anywhere in life. Like nobody's gonna like do that thing for you. Nobody's gonna go and get it for you. Nobody's gonna create like a plan for your life and like be like, here's what you have to do, XYZ. Like you literally have to be the person to do that for yourself. And that's really intimidating. It takes a lot of intentionality and a lot of planning and a lot of like introspection. It's a lot easier to just like go out and like be like, one day I'll figure it out. But the truth is that if you don't make a plan for your own life, like you're going to fall into other people's plans, like, and you're gonna have no control over your life, and you're gonna let time go by, and before you know it, like you can only be mad at yourself because you're not where you want to be. And you don't want to be one of those people that's always talking about like the things that they want to do and never doing them, because those kinds of people, first of all, they're never going to be happy because they're not getting the things that they want out of life. They're not building the skill set they need to be confident, to like have success. They're not setting themselves up for that, and they're also not respected by other people because they're all talk. So sometimes we have to just be not afraid of like working hard and really just putting our head down, minding our business, and doing what we have to do, because a lot of the things that we're enjoying, and they're always going to be there, but you have the inspiration now. You can make the plan now. You have to set a plan so that you can do little things every day to go toward that plan, so that one day it comes true. You know what I mean? Like people think you become successful all in one go, but for most people it's just the little things that you do all the time that kind of like add up over time. Follow your plans, not your mood. Like another example that, okay, so I'll use myself, again as an example, but basically like I'm more of like the entrepreneur, like creative type. And a lot of artists are, a lot of creative people are, like sometimes, and I don't think any kind of person is better than another kind of person, but I do think it's important to know like the way that you work. So I do think it's good to like know the way that you work best, because when you know your personality, when you know how you prefer working, what your strengths are, you can apply that to like your goals and get there faster, because you'll be working more efficiently. You won't be trying to make yourself fit into like a way of being, a mold or a type that you're just not, that's just not your strength. Like we excel in the environments where like our strengths are required, if that makes sense. And I learned this about myself over time. And how that shows up in like my day-to-day life is really prominent in like how I work, because and how I like get things done, because like I need to be able to have a little bit of flexibility and freedom to act on like impulses and like inspiration, because like that's just how I work. That's just how I like get things done. I have to be able to act on those things when I feel that way, because that's where I get like my energy. That's how I can remain focused, and that's just my way of working. Now I'm trying to shift more into like the content creation zone. So that's just a whole different story, because it's a different like way to work, literally. Like it's like a different framework. It's definitely more entrepreneurial. There's a lot of risks involved, and because it is a bit of a risk to like work in this way, to like work for yourself in general, like you really do have to work by a plan and not by how you feel, because the pressure is definitely there when you start working for yourself. Because if you don't work, if you don't like make a move, if you don't have some initiative and like make plans for what you're going to do to be successful, like you're not going to eat, like you're not going to gain anything. You're not going to like progress at all, because all when you work for yourself, everything's on you. So even when you're an entrepreneur or when you're a creative and that's the career path that you're choosing, like you still have to make a schedule for yourself and stick to it. Like you have to have some accountability. There's no world where like you get successful and you don't have to work in some way. Like even in people that I thought weren't like, even people I've noticed who don't have a job, have like a partner who's very wealthy, or like came into it by some other means, like in a way they're having to pay for it. Like, and I'm not even gonna get into detail, but like just believe like people are working in one way or another to maintain their lifestyle. So it's just unrealistic to think that you don't have to put in any work and that things just kind of come, and it's really harmful and it will keep you stuck. So, but learning to like not depend on like your mood and like your emotions on a day-to-day basis, and just sticking to like some kind of plan, is going to help you gain discipline, and it's going to help you create like a plan for your life so that you can maintain your focus and create something meaningful, something that has meaning for you and for your community. Follow your plans, not your mood, whether it's in fitness, whether it's in your career, whether it's in any goal that you want to pursue in any area of your life, even relationships. You have to follow your plan and not your mood. Like I identify as like an empath, like I'm definitely an emotional person, but there's no replacement for having like a solid plan and like taking steps every single day to get toward where you want to be in life. And the sooner you realize that, the better off you are, because there is nobody that can do that for you. So if you're unhappy with your current situation, like there are things that you can do to change it, but you have to first like regain the authority over your life, create a plan for yourself, and not be so easily like misled by your emotions. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel.